That song's good, man. That song gets me going a little bit. Morning, guys. Wow, that's really zoomed in on my face this morning. Zoom that out a little bit. All right. So, how's everyone doing? Breadman, Six, Troy, Matt, Joe, Robert, Chef Joe, Chef. Yeah, little downgrade on Upstart this morning. I saw that. Joshua, Octavian. Yeah, that's why I've been trading Baba. That's why I'm in Baba. Baba, big gap up. Kenny. All right, guys. So, yesterday we got a nice hold. Matt, I got a GR86. Pull up a picture. See if you can see this. Whoops, that was probably loud. That's it. I've been Turoing my Honda Accord, and wow, that's all I could say. All I could say is wow to that. I mean, this thing is booked out. Yeah, it's manual. It's booked out every day, every single day. I've made $900 this month, and I already have $900 of reservations next month. So I'm making almost $1,000 a month turtling my Accord out. It's pretty insane. And I'm probably the cheapest one on the market, so I probably should increase my pricing. But yeah, I mean, if you have a car that you guys don't really care about, or thinking about selling, before you sell it, give it a shot on Turo. It's pretty awesome. So just a little insight for anyone that's thinking about it. It's definitely depends on your area, of course, but definitely in my area, it's been well worth it. And my area is a little bit more older, and I don't want to say wealthy, but it is wealthy. I don't want to. I didn't choose to live here. Basically, my family is the reason I'm here. But to 2021. So I have a lot of trust in the people around this area. We'll see what happens. But so far so good, and pretty crazy. If I was in like New York City, I probably wouldn't do it because, who knows, what people are renting your car for there. But in part of Florida I'm in, it gives me a little bit more confidence. So basically, it's been doing pretty well. But anyways, let's get into the market. So we got a pretty nice hold yesterday on the overall market. That was pretty nice. We pulled back, we went higher, we pulled back. We sort of held at opening levels, and it looked decent. Now we are getting some resistance at some key levels, which I'm a little concerned of today. So we have to be aware of that, and I'll show it to you on the charts. We're definitely starting to run into some resistance. So could this market pull back, guys? Yeah, it absolutely could. It absolutely could. I'm not ashamed of it, Fernando. I just don't like to talk about, I don't want to brag, I guess the word is, about where I live. It's just not, I'm not really like that. I just think it's a really beautiful place to live, and I think a lot of people think the same way because the housing market here is ridiculous. Everyone's moving here from New York. Obviously, Florida as a whole, everyone's moving here. Yeah, well, we have some resistance coming up here on the market, which I'm a little concerned of. I'll share it with you guys today, the levels that we need to be aware of. We got a little bit of a double top on the market yesterday. Yeah, and we had Powell come out and talk. We knew that was coming around 12 o'clock. He did He did sort of say this. I mean, what happened was yesterday there was a headline article that came out that caused panic, and then Powell came on and sort of calmed the fears. That's sort of what happened yesterday. But what he said yesterday was basically the same thing as he originally said on federal funds. So I'm not really sure why the panic ensued, but it did, and it held up. It was just sort of a midday volatility move, and we held up overall. So let's go ahead and get started today, guys. We have definitely some levels we need to watch out for on the market. So first of all, futures, as always, economic and earnings calendar. Here's the economic calendar today. Today, I think we have more Fed meeting talking. Yeah, he was saying the same stuff he did in the meeting. It just, market's all panicked a little bit whenever he opens his mouth. Today's Tuesday. We have more Fed presidents talking. 3 Fed presidents talking today, guys. So, it's hard to know what the reaction is going to be on all 3 of these, but at least watch out for it. If these people say, things that are either more hawkish or more dovish, you might see some type of reaction. But just be aware of that. You have a lot of Fed presidents talking today, as well as yesterday, and as well as tomorrow, right? You have Jerome Powell speaking tomorrow as well at 8 a.m. So we'll probably be on this live stream to maybe some volatility tomorrow. So let's just be aware of that. Rest of the week, just normal jobless claims. And then inflation expectations at 10 a.m. I'm not sure that'll be too big because we already sort of know that. We sort of know what the Fed, what their inflation expectations are, but maybe 5-year. We didn't really hear much of a 5-year further out expectations, but let's see what happens on Friday as well. So today, just a lot of Fed presidents talking. We'll see if that affects anything. On the earnings calendar, we had Nike yesterday, which did pretty well the last time I checked. I'm not sure if that has changed since this morning, but we did have Nike release earnings yesterday, which was pretty good. Today, this morning, we have Carnival, Adobe after hours, Poshmark, and then nothing too major, guys, from this point forward. Darden, restaurants, Neo, that's about it. So there we go. Now, here's DE, guys. This chart's absolutely crazy. To look at it real quick, this is a huge, huge weekly chart breakout here on John Deere. Tractors are hot. Tractors are hot, man. Look at this move on DE. Huge weekly chart breakout above 390. All right, so Square 130 retest. We've been talking about this Square potential pullback to the retest level of 130. It happened yesterday. Tesla, huge 950 wall that we need to watch out for. AMD, I'm looking to see if AMD does something similar to Nvidia on that daily chart, the daily chart bull flag. I'm looking to see if AMD follows. BABA, big gap up today because of news of them increasing their share repurchases. And I think just overall, China QE probably is helping them as well. So I'm still in my BABA play. I still think there's upside on BABA. Nice gap up this morning above resistance. We'll take a look at it. Yeah, Nike could be a short if the market pulls back. Absolutely, Jay. That's definitely something I'd watch. Facebook 210 retest, similar to Square. I wanted to show it to you guys. Nvidia stuck at 270. This is a pretty big level for Nvidia that I want to share. XLE, really nice break and retest. Really nice push yesterday. The energy market was pretty hot yesterday, and oil was strong as well. So this is another thing we need to keep an eye out for. The energy sector. It was hot yesterday once again. Finally, Qualcomm. So if the market does pull back, Qualcomm is the one that I'll be looking for downside on, and I'll show you guys why. If the market is weak today, if the market's weak the rest of the week, Qualcomm is the one that I want to attack to the downside, and I'll show you guys exactly why. Then we'll go what the members want to look at, and we'll wrap it up. So let's go ahead and get started. John Deere, man. John Deere. So here's the weekly chart, guys. I guess we'll start with that. I don't typically start with the weekly chart, but one thing I did want to show you on the weekly chart, guys, is the 100 SMA on the weekly. You guys can see it right there. 100 SMA on the weekly. A very strong moving average. Very strong. Why is it strong? Because a weekly chart, first of all, is very strong. Each one of these candles is a week of price action, right? So it's not like a day by day or minute by minute. Every candle is one entire week of price action. So you guys can see last week we had a pretty astonishing week, right? Nice bounce, sort of engulfing a lot of price action here on last week's price action. Now, we bounced right off the 100. You guys can see right there. That's a pretty strong 100 SMA weekly chart bounce right off that 13,000. So I like that, first of all. That's sort of why I've been looking at a little bit more upside plays recently. That's why I've had success playing some of the upside. So next, which I want to make sure everyone is aware of today, and this is potentially why the market pulls back today, is the 50 SMA on the daily chart. You guys can see it right here. This is potentially where we start to stall. This is something to keep on watch today, guys. Right here, look at the stall that we are seeing at the 50 SMA on the daily chart. So please be aware of this. This is big. If you're not listening, pay attention here. This is big, right? You guys can see 50 SMA coming down, sloping downside, and then you have a pretty nasty rejection starting to come in here. Now, it's not like we are, at that point yet where we see a big red candle, full-bodied red candle, but it's definitely showing its signs of strength as resistance at the 50. So we need to be aware of this today. This could be the day where we see some pullback, where we can maybe set up for another push, but we definitely probably are going to see a pullback here at some point, guys. I don't think we're going to continue for, 2 weeks straight to the upside. That would be pretty ridiculous if it did happen. I don't know. That's probably not. I think there's a very low chance of that happening. But yeah, 50 SMA rejection. I would watch out for that today. That would be my main watch. If we start to reject off this, then I would look for downside. If we go to the shorter term time frames, we can see that right there at the 50, you guys can see what's been happening over the last 2 days and this morning pre-market, right? You have a push, a rejection. You have a push, a rejection. You have a push this morning and a rejection. So it is very clear. Look at this level, right around 14,450. It is clear as day, guys. There should be no reason why. You are not aware of this potential rejection here. Everyone should know that this right here looks like some rejection. So let's be aware of that. Let's make sure we know. Let's make sure we protect ourselves. Let's not get so aggressive here unless we see a nice little breakout above that rejection. That would be the key, right? A big breakout above that, continuation above that. That's what you need to see today if you want to see more upside. So pretty big rejection. You do have this nice little uptrend, which could also be a bear flag. You never quite know. But you can see right there, you have a nice uptrend over the last 3 days. And 14,450 is the level to watch out today on the Nasdaq. It's very clear, very apparent. There should be no reason why any of us get, sort of killed in any type of pullback here. You should be very aware of this. So Nasdaq, that's what I'm watching. 50 SMA on the daily chart, right around 14,150. You're starting to see some rejection come in. Right there on the daily. And then on the hourly, you guys can see 14,450. Big triple top so far this morning. So we need to see that get through. If we see that get through, I think you have more upside. If you do not, then I think you have maybe a pullback to around these previous highs, which are around 14,120 and maybe 14,000 even. Those would be my levels of pullbacks that I would watch out for if you get below yesterday's low of day, right? So yesterday's low of day is around 14.2. Then you have 14.120 and 14,000. Those are your 3 levels to the downside I'd watch. And then, consolidation before breakout, possible. Then we'll watch that. So that's the Nasdaq, very clear. Pretty easy to see there. Next, we have the S&P 500, and I believe this level is the 200 SMA, if I'm not mistaken. Let me put that on real quick. Yeah, it is. So there you go. You guys can see right here, that red line on the chart, that is the 200 SMA on the daily chart on the ES. And that is right there at around 4,450, right in that area. You guys can see rejection starting to come in right there at that 200. So do we reject at the 200? Possibly. Very possible, guys. And that is a must watch today. Do we see a pullback off the 200? If we do, that is not time to panic, right? It is not time to lose your shit and panic if we pull back off the 50 or 200 SMA. That's normal. It's totally normal. There's nothing wrong with seeing a rejection at a moving average, a major moving average, maybe a little pullback, and then see if we can make higher lows. So keep an eye on it. You should be all well aware of it. There should be no surprises. I'm sure people are going to come into the chat tomorrow and bash me because the market moved lower, even though I totally prepared you for the potential rejection here off these moving averages. As you can see on the ES, we have a very similar triple top that is starting to form right here on the hourly chart, right around 4,450, 4,460. You guys can see right here, triple top on the market right here this morning. So big rejections. What's it on the... Are we sitting at the 20? Not quite on the weekly. But yeah, so guys, let's be aware of it. Let's prepare ourselves. That's the best we could do. We, as traders, we have to prepare ourselves for what's going on in the market. We are preparing ourselves here. So we're prepared for rejection off this 4460s and the 200 SMA on the daily chart on the ES. Okay. Remember these words when you start trading today. Next, the YM daily chart. Yeah, there's a lot of resistance on Tesla, Alvin. I'll show you in a second. All right, Dow. So the Dow's a little bit stronger here, and I think it's probably off the back of maybe John Deere and Caterpillar and some of these other stocks that have been sort of strong. Some value names have been a little bit stronger, but the Dow is definitely outperforming here just a tad. The 50 SMA is actually holding as support right now. That's actually a good look. That's a pretty good look right there on the Dow. So you're holding that 50. I still think you need to retest probably this 34,000 level. I go out to the 4 hour. I think the Dow will need to retest. We'll see it, maybe not. But I think the Dow will probably need to retest this 34,000 at some point for another push higher. So let's see what happens here on the Dow. Dow's a little bit stronger. Keep that in mind. Holding this 20 SMA on the 4 hour. Looking to see, do we get this retest of 34,000? That would give me a little bit more confidence. If we saw that pullback, that retest of previous resistance, turn it into support, that would be nice. So let's see. That's the Dow. Looking for that pullback. We'll see if that happens. And then finally, the Russell is coming up towards that 2100. So I will not be taking any action on the Russell until I see a either break or major rejection of 2100. This is a huge level on the Russell, guys. And I want to see how it does if it starts to push into it. So 2100 on the Russell, that's a big level to watch out for. All right, guys, so that's the futures. Hopefully that makes some sense. You can clearly see the triple top that's forming this morning. Let's see what happens there. Do we get a push through it? Do we reject off of it? Where do we pull back to? That's all what I want to answer today. I want to get a little bit more insight on that today. I think you should definitely be very unbiased today because there is a definite possibility of maybe a pullback to yesterday's lows, maybe down to 14,120 off of this triple top. That is something that we need to be aware of. You need to have that as a possibility today, for sure. So that's that. I'm not saying that you have to get super bearish, but I want you to be aware of it. I don't want anyone to go into today without the knowledge of that resistance being there. Okay, Square. I like this play for a few reasons. I'll show you guys, and this is obviously contingent on if the market is strong. If the market is strong today, if we do get that push through that resistance, I really like this retest on Square of 130. So you guys can see we talked about this, right? We talked about the previous resistance, and we broke through that resistance. Now, what happens when you do a break of resistance? You usually would like to retest it and turn it into support. So that, I believe, is what Square is trying to do right now. It's a little bit questionable, especially if the market is weak. We might fall back under it, but I am definitely watching to see if Square can hold this 130 area today. That is something I am definitely keeping an eye out for. So right around 130, bring it down to around there. That's where these previous highs are, and that is where I'm looking to see if Square can retest and start to hold. So if I go to the 5-minute chart, it's a little bit weak this morning, but you guys can see we broke through back on Friday, sort of pulled back to that yesterday. Look at its reaction. Look at the reaction off of it around 11 o'clock yesterday, 10:25. Look at the reaction off 130. Big push right off 130. Right as it tapped it, it had a huge buying, a lot of buying pressure come off of it. And then we sort of slipping to it again. So let's see, do we get another push off this 130? That is something that I am keeping an eye out for today. Square break and retest. A play that I would be watching. Tesla. So guys, this is a big level for Tesla. It really is, and it's going to be tough to get through. There's no doubt about it. There's no doubt about the fact that it's going to be very tough for Tesla to get through this level. You can just see it just looking at this chart. I really don't need to say much. You can see it right here, right? Rejection, 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 rejection. And we're coming up into it, and we're starting to reject. So it is clear as day. It's nothing that should be surprising that Tesla is having trouble up here at 945, 950. There is a ton of supply here, and it's going to be difficult for Tesla to get through this level. It's been virtually straight up. It's been up 24% in the last, say, 5 days, and we might absolutely need a pullback, right? There's absolutely a possibility that maybe we get a pullback back to this previous resistance of around 880. So that's totally possible. Maybe we get a little break and retest of 880. We start to hold up, right, a little bit here, and then we go for the push, right? That is totally possible and would be a very healthy pullback if we see a pullback off 950, 945. We shouldn't expect Tesla to just do this, right, forever. Absolutely not. So watch out for that rejection. This could absolutely be a nice downside play today. If the market is weak, this is probably where I'd look to play if you want to see downside right off this perfect rejection. Because why do I say that? Because it gives you a very easy stop loss, right? You definitely don't want to see it above 945, 950, without a doubt. If you start to see it break through there, then you don't want to be in that short side play. But if you do get the rejection, it'd be a very nice move, maybe back down to like 880 would be my guess. So watch out here, guys. Brick wall there on Tesla around 945, 950. I would be very, very cautious of that. AMD. I'm looking to see if AMD wants to make a similar move as Nvidia. We can see AMD sort of on this downside move. And we got another nice move yesterday, sort of strong in the pre-market as well. Here's yesterday's price action. You can see we did get that push, but we sort of got rejected. We sort of held up, though, for the most part. Sort of, grinded higher. If you ignore this extreme volatility intraday, the average price of this stock yesterday was probably just about this, right? If you were to average out these volatility swings, the average price of AMD was on a nice little uptrend yesterday. So I like that. And I'm definitely watching to see if AMD has any signs of a breakout here on the 4-hour of this downtrend, because we all know what Nvidia did, right? Look, here's Nvidia. Look at what it did over the last week. You had a big breakout over that downtrend. So does AMD want to do the same? I'm definitely watching. I'm definitely watching this. So I would watch it too. If the market is strong today, if we do get a push today, I think AMD is a good candidate for some upside here if we get this breakout. So that's AMD. That's something I would definitely be watching today. I'm very interested in that. Baba. Big gap up off of news of share repurchases, I think it was, right? Buyback program. They increased it from 15 billion to 25 billion. Here's my thought process, guys, on Chinese names. I think the Chinese government and Chinese companies are doing everything they can to get the market to return for them, for the Chinese market to get back on a good standing, to get rid of all of the downside that we have seen in the Chinese markets for a very long time. I think there's going to be a conscious effort from businesses and the Chinese government to fix that. Whether it's legit or not, whether it's just all hyped up on QE and it's all means nothing, I don't know. That's probably totally possible, but I don't really care. All I know is that I think there's a conscious effort for these stocks to come back from the government and, things like this, increasing buybacks, that I definitely want to be focusing on these Chinese names, these Asian market names. So Baba is definitely one that I am in, one that I continue to be in and continue to look for upside. Because when I think of, what's the hierarchy of, where's the hierarchy when I trade stocks, right? Technicals are like really far up there. But even further higher than technicals is government support. There's nothing stronger than government support. So if there's government support on the Asian market, then I'm going for it. I'll take some risk there. So I have risk on the table on Baba. It's paid off beautifully. Obviously, this morning I'm going to be up very nicely. Look at this move that's about to continue here on Baba in the pre-market. Big gap up, nice hold above previous resistance, and it looks like we could definitely get some continuation. So I'm in for a Baba bounce. I haven't been very positive on Baba lately, but when I saw the Chinese government going in with the QE, I switched my bias there because I think there should be some upside. So we are opening above this major resistance, which is right here. You guys can see we have some major resistance at 110. Support, and we broke through it. We came back up into it, and that is where we rejected originally. But this morning, we are trading at 113. We are trading above this resistance. With us trading above this resistance, I think there can be some movement here on Baba, guys. Maybe up to around the 127s, 130s, right? Because we are now in this channel. If I go to the 4-hour, I think there could definitely be room here up until, the middle point of this channel, maybe even the top side of this channel. So like 120s, 130s is, I think, very possible if you continue to see momentum on these Asian market names. So I would be watching Baba today. Really big gap up, guys. May fill the gap, but I don't think it's going to fill the gap today. I think it looks too strong. And yeah, nice move here about to unfold, it seems. Something I would absolutely be watching today. Congrats if anyone held Baba with me. I know a lot of you guys got out because you didn't trust in it. You're like, what's this guy doing? This is a stupid play. But I'm very happy I held on. It worked out. It's going to work out nicely. All right, so Facebook. Facebook. I like a few things about Facebook. It's sort of like Square. This Facebook is sort of like the same thing as Square. I'm just trying to find the best time frame for you guys here. Here we go. All right. So why do I like Facebook, or why am I looking at Facebook at least? So we had a previous resistance here around 210, 211, right in this area, guys. You can see it right here. Look at this rejection that came in around 210, 211. This was back in February, beginning of March. We got a pretty nasty rejection around 210. Now, what did we do? Right? What did we do next? We got the breakout. We got the break above 210, and we're getting the retest. So we are retesting this previous resistance right here. We're retesting it, and I want to see us hold it as support. That is what I want to see. It's in the description, math. So break, retest. I want to see if we can hold the 210 level today on Facebook, because if we can hold this green previous supply, I would like to see it turn into support, and I would like to see Facebook continue off of it. That is, of course, going to mean we need a strong Nasdaq market. That is, we're going to need tech to be strong today. But I would stream went black. I don't think it went black. You guys see it? It's down in the description, math. Everyone see the stream? I'm waiting. Waiting for someone to type. I'm good. All right. All right, cool. So, Facebook, previous resistance at 210, and then I'm looking for that retest right there. That would be something. That would be something that I would look for today. Right there. Let's see if Facebook can hold this and try to push off. Okay. So that's Facebook. That's another retest that I would be watching today. We got Nvidia. Oh, Nvidia's actually got some strength here this morning. Daily chart on Nvidia. Why did I get into this play last Thursday? Well, it's because I believed in this breakout. That was pretty clear as day on Thursday of last week. You guys can see we got that Thursday break, we got the Friday continuation, and we got even more continuation yesterday. Now, we are at a crucial level, which I am definitely a little bit cautious of here. You know, I don't want to get too aggressive here. I'm definitely going to be a little bit cautious here around 270. First of all, what is the 270 level? It is right here it's right here at the 100 SMA. You guys see this green line? That is the 100 SMA on the daily chart. That is a definite possibility. It's a definite possibility that we reject off that, off that move. Reject off that moving average. So 100 SMA right at 270. That is something I'm concerned of. What else is at 270? What else is at 270, right? Very clear. Very, very clear. Right here, guys. Big time major resistance. Big time previous resistance. Big time supply. And a big time level that I would be very careful of here. So you have, they have a conference today. They have the Nvidia conference. We'll see if that helps. But you guys can see right there. Right there. These are arrows, by the way. And right there. That is 3 rejections on Nvidia at 270. So, that is something that I would be watching today, guys. This is a potential rejection point. You also have the 100 SMA on the daily chart, which is right there as well. So a lot of reasons for resistance to creep in here on Nvidia. Now, if you see today something strong off conference, the investor conference, the investor day, if you get a big push over 270, you bet there's going to be momentum, guys. You bet there's going to be momentum if you see that, right? If you see that today, I would absolutely be looking for Nvidia upside, because this break, this is one of the last breaks that we really need to see before we're sort of pushing back into the 300s, I think. There's like 285, 300 area, but this is the major one right here. 100 SMA, previous resistance. That's the last moving average that's in our way here. 100 SMA is the last moving average in our way. After that, I think you got some, some fresh air here. So watching that today for sure, guys. Nvidia is on my watch like a hawk today. I mean, that's my number one watch today. So 270, big level. Now, beautiful. This, take a screenshot, guys, because this is a break and retest at its finest. If you want to swing trade, if you're someone that likes to swing trade, I think the number one strategy that you could focus on is break and retests, either to the upside or the downside. I think that is the best strategy for any type of trader. For a swing trader looking to get a strategy that they like, the break and retest sort of checks all of the markets for me, all of the check marks for me. First of all, it's a great, proven area where there is previous resistance or support, right? So if you were to take this play, you look for the retest of XLE. There's previous resistance here that you want to see turn into support. So that's your first, hey, that's good. I like that. Second, what else does it do? It provides you a very easy stop loss because if XLE was to drop below, let's say, this $70 level, then you get out of the trade. You get out of your swing trade because it's no longer respecting the break and retest. And that just sort of sets up a very easy, risk to reward ratio. Because if you can catch a stock like this, let's say it's Apple, anything on a break and retest, you have a very tight stop. That is a good stop because it's a stop that would kill the setup, right? It's not just like a random stop. It's a stop that invalidates the setup and you no longer are interested in it. So it's a good stop loss. Plus, your margin is very high because your risk is, say, down to here, and your reward is potentially back up to where the highs are. So the risk to reward is extremely high on break and retest setups. So I love this setup. This is something that I'll continue to trade probably forever, and it works consistently. It really does. I mean, I could show you tons. It's going to be hard for me to just find them here, but there's definitely tons and tons of examples of break and retests on this market. I wish I could find some for you. Here's a perfect break and retest to the downside. Look at this break and retest to the downside, right? Break, retest to the downside. Previous resistance. Here's Home Depot, right? So you have previous resistance here. You break it, you retest it, and you turn it into resistance again. You can play it both ways. So good stuff. If you want to learn more about that, watch some of my videos or join the community. That's really what we trade quite a bit. So pullback, XLE, nice retest hold. You're pushing back higher, and this is probably off the back of a strong oil, which is pushing up again. This is another retest that held beautifully. You guys can see break, retest, held it. This is just sort of like a pump and dump, but we held it really nicely at 95. So nice push, really like that. And oil definitely pushing higher over yesterday, and that sort of helped that XLE move. So let's see if that XLE can continue. That's definitely something to watch out for, guys. XLE to the upside. It's slightly higher this morning. Okay, Qualcomm. This is a play that I want to play to the downside if the market is weak. This is where I will attack a tech stock to the downside if the market is weak. That's the caveat. I need to see a weak market. I need to see the market break yesterday's lows. I need to see the market break, below some previous lows, maybe it's 14,000. Those are the levels I need to see the Nasdaq break down, and then I want to slam this thing to the downside. Why? Because this is a break and retest. It's a break and retest, right? That's what it is, but it's to the downside. If I inverse this Qualcomm chart, what is this doing right now, right? If I inverse the Qualcomm chart, what is Qualcomm doing right now? It has pushed higher over a breakout point right here, up to around 140, and then it has pulled back. Well, this is inverse, but negative 140, back down to negative 160. And that is a break and retest. So I would be looking for, if this was the actual Qualcomm chart, I would be looking for this move, turning previous resistance into support. However, this is not the actual Qualcomm chart. This is. So I like this a lot. This is also at the 20 SMA in the daily chart. There's a lot of confluences here for downside. You have a gap that filled. You pushed off the gap. You pushed back into previous support. That should turn into resistance. And you have a 20 SMA that is curling down, potentially acting as resistance. If this starts to break down after 5 days of green upside, I would absolutely be looking to play this like this. So if we get market weakness, just have something that clicks in your brain, Qualcomm. If there's market weakness, think about Qualcomm, because this is a good setup. Why is this a great setup? Because on top of all of that, on top of the technicals, guys, you put your stop at 160 and you leave this stock alone. You put your stop at 160. It's a very nice stop loss. You don't want to see it over 160. Even number, clear whole number that you do not want to see the stock above. And you put your stop there and you look to see if this starts to reject. Very good risk to reward. Here's your risk and here is your potential reward. It's very obvious, very clear. That's like a 6-7 to 1 right there. I like that quite a bit. It depends on the market, guys, right? Don't get excited about the Qualcomm downside. It is all contingent on what the market does, right? If the market goes straight up today, Qualcomm is as well. Qualcomm's not going to reject. So this is all contingent on the market, and that is when you have to have a good eye at reading the overall Nasdaq market, right? You need to have a good eye and a good understanding of reading what the Nasdaq is doing, because that's where it all comes. That's where everything sort of comes together. When you can understand, what the overall market is doing. So those are some of the things I'm watching today, guys. You got Square on the 130 retest. You got the huge wall on Tesla at 950. If there's market weakness, I would probably look for Tesla downside. AMD right at that downtrend. Let's see if there's any breakout there. BABA, big gap up. Definitely a watch for me there. Facebook on the 210 retest. That's like a probably bottom of the barrel play for me. I'm not that interested in that, but something I wanted to share. Nvidia at 270 is going to be on my watch all day. XLE, obviously want to see what that's doing. And then Qualcomm. Qualcomm to the downside. If the market's weak, something I'm definitely eyeing. Okay, so that's what I had for you. But we're going to go ahead and jump into more stocks. And these stocks are what you guys want to look at. So if you guys are not a member of the stream, if you come here every day, if you'd like to show some support on the live stream, what you guys can do is there's a button down below. Let me go ahead and pull up the live stream. It should say join. It'll say join down below. It'll look just like this. See that join button? If you guys want to press that join button, you will support the streams, support the work that I do here, and you will get access to this Google Docs where people post charts every single day. Every single day we post charts. We got the earnings calendar there. We got economic calendar. This is Ike. Shout out to you. I know that's your name in the Discord. I'm not sure your name here on YouTube, but I'm sure you're listening. Shout out to you for doing this for me. Does it out of the kindness of his heart, which is just a class act guy right there. So beautiful economic calendar, earnings calendar. You get to put your tickers there. Your time is limited, so don't waste it living someone else's life. Steve Jobs, quote of the week. And then Jimmy Fallon, be sure to smash that like button and subscribe. Siva, thank you, sir. Thanks for supporting. If you guys, once you are a member of the stream, all you're going to do is you're going to go to the community tab and you will see it there. All right, let's go ahead and get started. So, first one we have today is Home Depot. Home Depot. And of course, guys, if you don't, if it's not something you're interested in, a like button, the like button is more than enough. That would be fantastic. All right, Home Depot, first one we're looking at here. We sort of just looked at it already, I just realized. But yeah, guys, we talked about watch out for these levels, right? We talked about watch out for this 340. I did not put this on my chart today, right? This is something that has been on my chart for I don't even know how long. However, it's very clear why we rejected yesterday. Very clear. Why did we reject yesterday on Home Depot? Well, it's because you moved right back into a 3-time previous resistance. Resistance. What did you do yesterday? You moved right into it. I cannot stress the importance of looking at the daily chart before you head into any trading day. If you did not know that you were trading Home Depot to the upside, if this was your chart, right, yesterday, this is what you were looking at. Let's say this is all you were looking at, right? You were just looking at this. Last 2 days, look at this. I love it. Love this upside. This is looking good. I love Home Depot to the upside. This, I want to play some calls here because this looks really good over the last 2 days. However, if you just zoom out a little bit, you would have noticed that you are playing this right into a major resistance. So, can't stress the importance enough of zooming out, going to the daily chart. This is a huge resistance. I would not expect Home Depot to get above that unless we get some extreme market strength. I would not expect Home Depot above 340 unless you get some extreme market strength. MU. It's been a shit show, really. It really has been, to be quite honest. So, I don't know. I'm not really liking MU at all here. To either direction. Head and shoulders on the 4-hour. Inverse head and shoulders. Yeah, you're right. Hey, you're right about that. You're spot on. You got the inverse head and shoulders, left shoulder, head, right shoulder. What do you want to see happen on MU for upside? You need to probably see it break above this 81. Even dates back to back here. So yeah, you want to see a breakout above these previous highs. That's where you would like to probably take that. But yes, inverse head and shoulders on the 4 hour, absolutely. Could definitely set up for a nice little breakout here above 81. However, just in the grand scheme of, and sort of the bigger picture, this stock has been very, very choppy and volatile, really in no type of trend. So if you do take something like that, maybe make it pretty short term. Make it short term. That'd be a tough play. BHP, one of the most illiquid charts I've ever seen on the daily chart, with monster gaps all over the place. If you're trading this stock, you're putting yourself through a little bit of a panic attack. You're getting your blood pressure up a little bit too much, I think. But, it's definitely been on a ride. You can see over the last 5-6 days, it's been straight up. It looks like it's up again in the pre-market, which looks pretty good to me, in the short term. It's just so choppy. I mean, I don't like trading charts that look like this. Look at all these gaps. So, it's been on a run. Maybe watch out for these highs around 73, 74, and maybe you get a nice big push over that. But, for me personally, if you come to my channel, I'll give you my honest opinion. This is too much for me, man. I can't trade a chart like this. Just not my style. But, it looks good over the last few days. So, yeah, Upstart was downgraded this morning. I saw that. Very upset about that. So, we'll see. Downgrade on Upstart causes this downside. I saw it. It got a cut to 75 from 110. They say macro geopolitical risks, reliance on third-party funding. So, it got a downgrade this morning from Wedbush. We'll see what happens. I was looking for this to continue higher. I really like this chart setup, but of course, guys, this is trading, right? This is the reality of trading. Chart can look good, technicals can look good, a lot of things can set up, and then you get some analysts from a bank saying that they don't like the stock and they downgrade it. You wake up to a downgrade, and this is what happens. And what is the only way? There is only one way to avoid taking losses, big losses in this situation, and that is focusing on risk management. Only putting in money that you are willing to lose, and only taking position sizes that you are comfortable with. I get thousands of questions and probably hate comments on why I trade so small, and these are the reasons why I trade so small. Because I do not put a lot of money into risky weekly option contracts or monthly option contracts with the everlasting possibility of things like this happening overnight. It's just not smart. It's not smart, and it's not something that I like to expose myself to. I don't know why people don't get that you can't be a day trader or an options trader while protecting your capital. If you are an options trader, it basically means you have to be a degenerate. And that's just a total, it's just a totally wrong thing about the whole stock market, which I don't play into. I don't get my mind into, but a lot of people do that enter the market. They think you need to trade like $100,000 to even be considered a good trader, which is just so wrong. So this is why you have to manage risk. This is why you have to protect capital. This is why you have to always expect the unexpected when you trade stocks or options. You cannot over leverage yourself, because if you got into Upstart heavy, looking at this uptrend saying, God damn, this looks good, and then this happens one morning, you are screwed. And that's the end of the line. So, this is just a good example, guys, of why you need to protect capital. It is so important. All right. Twilio. It's a nice gap fill and a nice pull. It's a nice gap fill and a nice bounce. Except, guys, I just still see this downtrend. So I need to see much more here on Twilio before I can trust anything here. It's a little bit of look how beautiful the moving averages are, actually. That's actually pretty. Look at that little display of colors here. Look at my rainbow of moving averages. That's very nice. Look at how beautiful that little display of moving averages is. So 20, 50, 100, 200, just really, really aligned, really fanned out. And when you guys see moving averages that look like this, that is when they are at their strongest. They are at their peak performance. They are peak moving average when they are moving like this. So Twilio to the downside is what you put. Yeah, I would look for, maybe a push into the 50 and a rejection, maybe a break back under the 20. That is what I would be watching, because I don't think Twilio can withstand the upside here when you have this many moving averages that are fanning down like this. Look at where the previous rejection was, right at the 50. So I would maybe look for maybe a push to the 50 and then maybe a rejection there. So yeah, I would definitely look for downside here, but you got to wait. You got to wait for this start to lose some steam and the market to lose some steam. Netflix. Last one here, guys, is Netflix. I don't know, guys. Just not a great chart. Not a great chart. Like if you were to put this chart in front of me, I would instantly go away from it. That's my initial reaction. Usually when you look at a chart, you get that reaction. At least I do. Since I've been sitting in this chair for years on end, looking at charts. This is my initial reaction to this is there's nothing here, because you're sort of in the middle of a bounce, which isn't really amounting to much. I mean, you're still below these highs. You're still below these highs. You're still below these highs. So it's a bounce that really isn't amounting to much, and you're not really at a rejection level either, right? You're sort of just in the middle of nothing. You're in the middle of a bounce that really isn't amounting to anything. If you were starting to reject off this 395, I would be a little bit more confident. Maybe there's some room to 395, but this is just not a chart that I have much confidence in here, guys. Just be a little bit careful. You have earnings coming up as well in about a month. So maybe you get a little earnings run, but this would be more of a market. Watch this with the market. If the market's strong, then maybe you watch this to the upside. But overall, this daily chart's just not looking great. All right, guys, that's all I got. If you want to join the Discord, if you want to come hang out, if you want to trade with me live every day, I post every trade I take, winner or loser, I don't care. If you guys are in the chat, I take losses. So, but the biggest thing that I focus on is focusing on risk management, protecting my money. I'll never blow up. I just don't allow myself. I don't put money that I can't afford to lose into the stock market, and it's easy as that. I have bigger goals, right? Real estate, investing in other things. Options trading to me is not like a make it or break it. I take it with a very relaxed mindset, protect my capital, take trades that look good. If I lose, I lose. If I win, great. I make some extra money. That's how I think you should approach the market. You should not approach this market looking to become a millionaire overnight, because you will lose all of your money. Focus on risk management, focus on protecting capital, take it slow, learn along the way. You need experience, you need screen time. How do you get screen time if you blow up your account in a week? So thank you guys again. Hopefully you enjoyed the stream. Hopefully I'm a voice of reason for you. And I hope you have a fantastic day, and I will see you in the next stream. Peace out. Press the like button. Don't forget to press the like button. Thanks.